Tunji, welcome to the cave.
Hello, Elias. Thank you for having me.
How are you, my friend? See,
It's a
you're on
very
you're on
it's a
set
very,
and everything.
yeah, we're on set. I was about to say it's a very well structured cave. It looks like you have bricks and mortar
Yeah,
going on there. So I appreciate the construction you got in your cave.
there you go. So, yeah, man. I mean, the listeners and the viewers know you as Ned Nick from Nancy Drew. And exciting times for
hmm
you.
Absolutely. We're doing season three, filming here in Vancouver. As you said, I'm on set. So yeah, it's very exciting. We just dropped season episode two, sorry, on Friday. Got episode three. It's crazy how fast once it starts rolling, how fast it all kind of goes. But yeah, we're having a lot of fun here doing season three.
Yeah, yeah, man. We'll dive into that in a little bit. But one of the first things I always ask, like my guests, is like, how did you like fall in love with acting, man? When did you get into it?
It wasn't necessarily, I'm not one of these guys that's like, from when I was five, I wanted to act. I kind of found it, I suppose, later in life. I found it in my kind of teen years. I was always involved in kind of amateur dramatics, the kind of school production of Jesus Christ Superstar or Little Shop of Horrors or something like that. But then when I was kind of in high school, I met a drama school teacher who kind of made it an option that it could be a profession for me, which really, I'm not from a family of actors. No one in my family are actors or in the entertainment business. So it wasn't really something that was on my radar. In fact, it was actually the opposite because my dad is quite academic. In particular, my mom's a primary school teacher, and my dad's got like a PhD in economics. So he's a really deep into the world of academia. So that was the assumption is where I would go. And I met the right person at the right time, and she saw something in me and kind of encouraged, and we got into doing kind of what we call straight plays because we were just kind of doing musicals. I was just kind of doing musicals up to that point. I did The Talented Mr. Ripley. That was my first like just play that I did, and that kind of hooked me. And I applied for drama school in Glasgow and got in, and that kind of one thing kind of led to the next. And here I am in Vancouver filming Nancy Drew season three.
Well, I noticed that you were born in Scotland, but you also lived in
Mhm.
Nigeria. So, like, where was your first like when you started messing around with acting? Was that in Nigeria? Or was that in Scotland?
Um, it was. I was probably always a performer to some
Yeah,
degree. My sister, my siblings, and I, we would do performances for my mum and dad during their anniversary and things like that. We would sing along to songs and do like karaoke numbers and work out dance routines and stuff like that. So it was always, that was maybe always in my blood. But
yeah,
when I first started performing in front of people that weren't my family, that were willing to watch
right.
what I was doing, yeah, it was probably in Scotland. It was in Scotland. Because now there's many fantastic things about Nigeria, but I suppose I wasn't really in a place where I had access to drama groups or anything like that,
Mm.
and it was more in Scotland that I got exposed to that kind of side of things, and yeah, I got into it.
Yeah. You mentioned your dad economics, your mother a teacher. When you told them acting, what was their reaction to it?
I mean, my mum didn't mind. She was all for it because she's
Yeah,
probably if there was an artistic one between the two of them, it's her. So my dad, he was uh, he was practically supportive, but maybe
yeah,
not quite emotionally ready to accept that his son might become an artist.
yeah.
So I'd say practically supportive in the sense that he took me to drama school auditions and things like that, which was like a 3-4 hour drive from home. He would,
Wow.
drive me there, spend the day while I did my thing, and then drive me back. But it was very much not a yes, I'm fully behind you on this. It took him a while
Mm,
to come around. Now he's 100%. Now he's like my biggest fan. Now he's
that's
telling me
awesome.
stuff about stuff I'm doing that he finds online before I even know about it. But it took a minute for him to recalibrate to the arts and letting his son go off and do his thing
Mm,
in that, because it's a very very foreign world for him, because the deal was I was going to do and this is good advice, guys, everyone out there, this is good advice anyway: get a backup degree, right? Get a backup skill of some kind you can fall back on, because this game, the acting game, is, if it works out for you, it's fantastic. But the reality is it doesn't work out for so many people. The large majority, it doesn't work out. So you need other avenues, other revenues of income, even if it is to just support the acting thing until that clicks.
mm.
So the deal was I was going to do computing science degree
Okay.
before I did the acting thing. But then I got into drama school and I said, Dad, the odds of me getting into drama school are pretty low, and I'm already in. So how about I do the drama school thing, and then after that I'll do a degree in computing science. yeah, the computing science thing never really worked out. So fortunately, I kept working as an actor, and it's kind of gone from there.
So yeah, Nancy Drew. I mean, this has been on for 2 seasons, and the third season just premiered. Did you think that you were going to get this far with this? Like, and everybody loves the show. It's got a good following.
Right. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. We've got a really loyal fan base, and hopefully expanding and growing. And yeah, this is my first job in stateside. This is my first job in America. So I had very few expectations, or very few, I didn't really have a reference point to go off. I was just kind of fortunate to get into a show and for things to kind of develop the way they were. And the more I'm part of a project which is successful, the more I realize and appreciate how rare it actually is to be part of a show. One that gets, you're lucky to get a pilot, you're lucky to get picked up for season 1, you're lucky to get season 2, and then to get season 3 is like, so I'm just very fortunate that this is kind of rolling, and it's a fantastic group of people. The actors are fantastic, and the crew and the directors we get to work with, and the writers and the showrunner, everyone's like, it's such a fantastic place to work, come to work every day. So yeah, we're just fortunate, and we're just rolling with it while the public like what we're doing. We'll keep doing it, and yeah, who knows where this will end, but yeah, enjoy the ride while it goes.
Right. Did you originally go in for Nick when you first auditioned for the show?
Yeah. That was the only part I auditioned for. I got the email. It was my first pilot season. It was 2019, first pilot season in America. I'd had US representation for a few years, but I'd been working in the UK a lot, doing predominantly theatre in the UK. And then finally decided, okay, I'll come out to America for this pilot season. Might as well, I've got these guys there. Might as well see if we can make something happen. Came out, and Nancy Drew is actually the second audition. You do a bunch of auditions during pilot season. For anyone listening who doesn't know, pilot season is basically, it's usually February, where a bunch of pilots episodes, like shows that are being pitched to be made, all the auditioning happens for those shows. So it's a very busy period for casting. So I went out pilot season. It kind of worked out. I got this job. This was my second audition that I did in LA. And yeah, they wanted me back, did a couple of recalls, and got the part. And I'm Ned Nick Nickerson.
So how fun has it been playing this character?
It's been a lot of fun playing Nick, because I grew up with the books. I grew up with the books. I had a couple of Nancy Drew books growing up, so I was very much aware of Nick. We're calling him Nick in ours, but Ned in the books, and the Nancy Drew world. So when I got that email for the audition, it was very exciting. It was immediate recognition and kind of, giddiness of nostalgia of, getting a chance to do what is a very modern iteration of Nancy Drew. It's not like the books in a lot of ways. It is, and it isn't. But, it was exciting, it's 2019 when this thing got cast. And I suppose it's exciting that we are in an arena now where you can change up. You don't have to be so strict and sticking to contents that came from 1920s, where we were very, very different social times. So it was very exciting. It was not something I expected by any means, but it's very exciting to get that opportunity to maybe play this guy who I'd read about and kind of grew up with, if it being a very modern iteration of that. So it's been very exciting, and the stuff we've done with Nick has been very exciting and very cool. He one of the biggest things about him is that he had quite a traumatic experience just coming out of high school. Just before he goes into college, he unfortunately was involved in a fight that led to someone dying, and he got charged with manslaughter and did time in juvie. So he's gone through this just before we meet him in season 1, he's just coming out the other side of that, where he's gone through a very traumatic experience in his life. And we've had the opportunity to explore that in a very meaningful and deep way. It's potentially a cliche, having an ethnic minority kind of having gone through the American prison system, young Black man having gone through the American prison system, but it's a reality for so many young Black men in America, unfortunately. So one of the real points of emphasis I had with the writers and the showrunners was, if we're going to do this, we're going to make sure that we give it substance and depth, and we actually pay attention and look at what it's like for someone who's gone through the correctional facility, what the impact of that is on them. And we've got to explore that in so many different ways. So that's one of the very satisfying things about it. Oh, there we go.
All right.
I don't know what I dropped you.
How much input do you have on the character, and like when you're reading a script, or like, and you tell them like, oh, can we change this a little bit, or can we change that a little bit? Have you had any input on the character?
Oh yeah, I mean, there's constant conversations going on with the showrunner and the writers, thankfully, because some shows there's not much communication going on, but our show, there's great lines of communication. It's something I'm very fortunate to have. Obviously, the bigger story points get decided by the writers and the showrunners, but they're definitely always in conversation with me about my thoughts and opinions about that. And obviously, when scripts come through, they're also very open to rewrites or what makes sense as Nick, or actually Nick says this episode, but 5 episodes ago or in season 1 or whatever, he actually said this, which kind of jars and contradicts. Can we change that? So yeah, there's definitely a lot of conversation going on, and lots of lines of communication. Ultimately, big choices are made by the showrunner and the writers, but the kind of minutiae and the detail of it they're very much open to having conversations with me about that, and we can finesse that as we go. And kind of the start of most seasons, we'll have a conversation before they start writing the upcoming season. What do you want to explore in Nick? Awesome. Or what do you want to explore in your character? And hopefully they can find a way of kind of weaving that in and making it something that's explored in the coming episodes.
Yeah. I had a couple Nancy Drew fans wanted me to ask you, like, are we going to see any more backstory of Nick? People want to see more about your background and your past.
Yeah, absolutely. We will. Well, they're going to be pleasantly surprised with season 3, because a lot of the stuff Nick's dealing with in season 3 is because he's from Florida and this is set in Maine, in up northeast. So some of the people from his past kind of come to town from Florida, and that stirs up a lot of things for Nick, because he's kind of done this thing where he's split his past and his present, and they're kind of 2 different versions of himself with this kind of traumatic incident in between. So in season 3, we'll very much be delving into and looking to how do you marry those 2 together, and make sure you're a consistent person, and you're not just putting a section of your life in denial and forgetting about it. You're actually dealing and processing with it rather than just leaving it behind you. And Nick, I don't know if you're going to get onto these questions about his relationship with George and the marriage proposal, but that relationship and that big step in his life, for anyone to get married, it's a massive step. So that big step in his life has forced him to kind of reconsider himself and who he is as a person and what he wants to be going forward. So yeah, Nick's past will definitely be delved into, and we'll definitely see a bit more of the Nick before you meet him in season 1.
How would you feel about a Nick spinoff?
Nick spinoff, it'd be great. Of course, it'd be great. I don't know if that, because we have a Tom Swift spinoff, which is pretty damn special. A Nick and George spinoff, yeah, that'd be great. That'd be a great team. It's that's a wonderful thing about TV as well, right? You never know where it's going to go, what's going to happen. You just kind of roll with the punches and take whatever opportunities come your way. But anything's possible. Anything. Nick could solve mysteries as well. Right. He's smart enough. He could figure it out.
Speaking of George, like, how would you describe the chemistry between you 2?
Between Nick and George, I think they're perfect for each other. I think they're great for each other. I think the big thing, the big character points for both of them is Nick's maybe a bit more reserved and maybe wants the approval of people a bit too much, whereas George is kind of the opposite of that, and she doesn't really give a damn what people think and is very kind of in your face about it. So I think they can both learn a lot from each other, and they both get a lot from each other. As far as me and Leah Lewis go, I love Leah Lewis. I'm fantastic working with her every single time. So much fun. Such a good actor. So kind of committed to what she does. So yeah, we have a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun with Nick and George. And obviously they're taking a big step together. So we're going to explore a lot of kind of complicated emotions between them. These kind of young people possibly taking this massive step of marriage and kind of being together for the rest of their lives, however short or long those lives might be.
Right.
That's a big step. So we have a lot of fun. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
How would you describe working with like the rest of the cast? Also, the vibe on set.
It's great. It's a fantastic group of people. It's it's very rare. I think, once again, American TV, I'm fairly new to this, but we've all heard stories about casts and how they get along or how they don't get along,
Yeah.
and the stories that come off sets and the tension and all that drama that can go along happen off the camera. But we don't have any of that on this show, and that's very much down to, in large part down to the cast and of course the crew as well. We all get along so well. We're all here for the work. We all know why we're here. We have a lot of fun, but we get the work done, and we're very committed to what we do and how we do it. And I think hopefully we've got a good reputation here in Vancouver, where people seem to want to come to work, actively seek out coming to work on our shows, on our show, which is a great compliment. So yeah, it's fantastic working with Kennedy and Alex and Madison, and even of course Scott Wolf, who's actually directing one of our episodes right now.
Oh wow.
The episode we're filming around, so that's a lot of fun. And Riley Smith. So yeah, it's fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. I couldn't really ask for much more.
We mentioned that you're on set right now. Like, how much has it changed now with like filming in the COVID and like the protocols and everything? How much has that changed since like season 1?
Here's my mask. Mask. Yeah, I mean, because we got shut down during season 1. We were supposed to have 22 or 21 episodes, but we were filming, we only ended up having 18, and we were filming 19 and 20. And we literally, there's a car park just outside there, and we all got called to it just before lunch and got told, okay, everything's shutting down immediately, everyone go home. And I'm from the UK, obviously, so it's like, oh crap, am I going to be able to get home? What are the flights like? All that kind of jazz. But it was surreal. But we've somehow, we're kind of coming out the other end of it now with the vaccines and all that kind of stuff, right? And numbers going down. So that's absolutely fantastic. And season 2 was definitely in the eye of the storm type thing. But somehow we managed to make a whole season through a pandemic, which is just an amazing thing. Yeah. We had no shutdowns, so we had no kind of COVID outbreaks on sets. So the protocols we had in place, protected people and kept the whole kind of the show running and going, which is fantastic, and just kind of a mini miracle in itself. But more than anything, I'm just so fortunate to have been able to keep filming and keep doing what I do through a pandemic. Obviously, so many people didn't get that opportunity, and jobs were stopped or lost even. So I definitely appreciate that I've been able to keep doing this thing that we do here. And yeah, just keep it rolling. So it's weird with the masks, of course. It's weird having to wear this all the time around other people. And keep your distance and all that kind of stuff. But if it's the price you have to pay for staying in, keeping this, this thing, it supports so many families. There's so many people working here with their paychecks that feed their families. So if we can keep this thing going, and we just have to wear a few masks, and we get the Q-tip up the nose every 3 times a week. If that's what we have to do to keep rolling, then that's what we have to do, and keep people safe and healthy and keep working. And so far it's worked. So yeah, completely fortunate and blessed. And I appreciate fully that, it could have gone very differently, especially because I'm from predominantly a theater background. And of course, all the theaters got shut down. Right. So if I wasn't in a TV or a film job, I would be, unemployed, sitting at home waiting for that theater to open back up. So yeah, I completely appreciate where I'm at and the fact we've been able to keep it rolling.
How many episodes are you planning to film this season? Have they given you guys a number?
13. So lucky number 13. Yeah.
How many episodes are you in so far?
We are just filming 9. We're on episode 9. So yeah. 13, which is, it's a good number. I think it's a great number to kind of, hopefully you get all thriller, no filler, and you don't have to kind of stretch things out. You can just kind of get it done quite succinctly and accurately and quickly. So yeah, 13. We'll be finished filming in kind of start of December. So get back home for Christmas.
Any projects for you after you guys are done filming this season?
No, as of yet, things will start coming in and you start having meetings and talks with people. But I think predominantly, really, if we get season 4, we'll see. I don't know. Hopefully we will. So you've kind of always got to be on standby for that. But also, I just want to get back to hopefully get back to London and do some theatre. and get back into the theatre scene, because that's really a passion of mine and really something I love and just love doing. So if I can get back to the UK and do some, London theatre, that would be fantastic. So yeah, keep an eye out for that.
How can the listeners and the viewers find you on social media?
Elias, I'm not on social media. I have a Facebook account somewhere out there that I never ever check, but I'm not on the socials. I keep my life simple. I simplify my life, and I'm not on the socials.
Hey,
so you can find me. You can find me by tuning in to Nancy Drew every Friday night on the CW.
There you go. And there's nothing wrong about not having social media. Sometimes it's probably better.
I mean, a lot of people think that. I say that to people and people go, wow, wow, good for you. Like, everyone can do it. You don't need to be on social media either. But yeah, not for me. Not for me.
Tunji, my friend, this was great. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.